Welcome to Let's Be Real 100%, where we are 100% real about life. We know that life happens and we are here to talk about it. And when I say we, I'm talking about it's all God and little old me. Join us as we jump into our topic today. Hey, welcome to another episode of Let's Be Real 100%, y'all. We have been on an amazing journey. This journey is no different. We have Miss Monica here with us to share her journey. Welcome, Miss Monica.
Hello, thanks for
Yes,
having me.
absolutely, absolutely. Again, this podcast is just to express that other people are not alone in their journeys. There's a lot of testimonials, a lot of journeys out there that are helping other people through their journey so they don't have to go through the same thing that we went through or give them a way out of certain situations that they may be going through in life. So we can go ahead and start off. I usually start off the podcast with a an icebreaker. Couldn't get my name. Couldn't get it right. An icebreaker. So my icebreaker for you is, what book are you reading and how is it helping?
Hmm. Right now, what book I'm reading is called Quantum Mind or Quantum Body, and it's by Deepak Chopra,
Okay.
and it's talking about how um, it's talking about the quantum field of energy in our bodies, which
Okay.
I find fascinating that we're in I before we came on the show today, we talked about like our body is not like a car where you can just go oil it and tune it up.
Right.
That's what he's talking about. He's talking about there's so much more. It's because of our emotional energy that
Hmm.
really affects our bodies.
And how we emote through the day in every area of our lives, for sure. For sure. That sounds like a really interesting book to study the body as a whole. So that definitely seems interesting. So tell us a little about yourself, where you're from, and the beginning of your journey.
Yeah, so I live in northern Vermont. I've lived here my whole life. And I got started on this journey because I was experiencing some deep grief after losing both my parents within 8 months of each other. And I had these experiences that I really felt like they were my dad
Hmm.
showing me signs that he was still kind of here. And I did a lot of studying, a lot of reading. I went to see some mediums, and I decided to write this story about this special dime that my dad had given me. And he had given me this Liberty Head dime necklace when I was taking care of him. First, my mom passed, and then my dad passed 8 months later. So I took care of my dad while, because he wasn't well. And so a couple weeks after he died, I was hiking this mountain, and I got to I was, grieving and crying and, doing the whole thing. And
Right.
I got to the top of the mountain, and I had told him before he died that there was a spirit communication system and that he could talk to me and I could talk to him, and it was all going to be okay. And so that
Okay.
he could kind of relax because he was really scared of dying. And so I found a dime on this mountain that I always used to call him on when I got to the top. So it just kind of started me on this journey. And so that's not the ending of the first book. So I'm not going to give away the ending to the first book. There is another dime that I held up to my son and my husband, and I said, "You cannot call me crazy anymore. This is a sign from my father." And they both were like, "Okay." Yep, it is. And so they didn't disagree with me or call me weird or anything like that after. And it was, I started sharing it just, verbally, like telling people, and I saw the power in sharing my grief and also this connection to this other, unknown, invisible world of energy. And and it really just helped a lot of people. And so in my first book, I also share a lot of my health tips about like not believing everything my brain tells me and different
Right.
things that like I was really struggling, and I wanted to share my story because people from the outside looking in thought that I was fine. They
Right.
really you know, I looked like I was fine. I had a long marriage that I've been married for, now 33 years, but at the time it was almost 30 years and that I had been married and, had a good job and, two grown kids. And on the outside, I looked fine, but
Right.
people didn't understand that. Like, I almost committed suicide when I was in college. I went through many depressions throughout my life, and I really had to fight to like get to where I was. And so I shared that as part of my book and my story so that people would like see that, like, no, not everybody, has it all together, I
Right.
guess.
Right.
Even though it looked like I did, I didn't. I was struggling. I struggled my whole life.
Right.
And
So
so,
what? So like, what were you struggling with to where you had when you were in college? You wanted to commit suicide. Like, what? If you would like to share, like, what made you into a depression at a young
yeah.
age?
So, in my family growing up, the dynamics were a little, they were okay. Again, from the outside looking in, everybody looked fine. And my dad had a prominent business in town, but the emotional support just wasn't there. Like, I didn't know anything about college or, what to do. And so my first year, I just turned to alcohol because it was it was confidence in a bottle. I
Right.
thought that was the answer. And then I started getting into a few drugs. I had a near death experience. I actually shared that in my first book, where I'm pretty sure I died.
Right.
um, and, but I also knew that it wasn't my time.
Right.
Um, and so, yeah, I've always just had kind of had this edge of depression and always kind of lingering in the background. And, if I let it come to the front, then, I would start to feel like I don't want to be here anymore. But never any plans. But it definitely was going through my mind. And so, like, I can understand that.
Wow. Okay, definitely. I definitely understand that because I know when we were growing up, I know, and then even probably a generation before us, I'm sure, um, it wasn't really an easy place to talk. Like, people didn't really talk about a whole lot of things. Then a lot of things were either swept under the rug or just wasn't talked about as far as emotionals and, growing up as a teen and things that we go through, like peer pressure and all that stuff. So a lot of stuff I definitely understand um, the point of going into, a phase of depression and turning to alcohol and all that. I relate to all of that. I definitely relate to that. So whenever, after you finished college, like, what was your journey like coming out of the depression?
Well, I'm very thankful that I met my husband because he was a big
Mhm.
part of that. And then I got a teaching job when I was 21, and I just loved being around kids, and they inspired me and helped me. I don't know, just kind of move on. And then I was also knocked down at. I'm trying to think how old I was. I think it was 28,
Mm.
27. Um, I had back surgery and couldn't take care of I by that time I had 2 little kids. And so I couldn't take care of them. And that also sent me, searching for, like, what am I doing? Why am I here? And I'm in so much pain. And, I had to like say no to the pain pills because, they weren't helping. And they
Right,
weren't, I didn't want to cover up my pain. I wanted to be able to be healthy. And, I knew that I wanted to be alive for my kids by that time.
right,
So, um, but I've definitely struggled with some of the things. And I just actually, I'm just super sensitive, and people that aren't sensitive don't understand that.
right,
And, like in my book, I share, like, my mom didn't understand how super sensitive I was, so like what you were saying, how like we didn't talk about our emotions or we didn't talk about peer pressure and all that stuff. I definitely didn't talk about any of that stuff, but
right.
she also didn't understand how super sensitive I was. And some of my work is also inspired. I just lost my brother last month, and he died of alcoholism.
Wow,
Um,
my
his
my my heart to your family for sure.
Thanks. So, it's been a journey to like watch him go down that road and
Right.
then know that like I had some cheerleaders in my life that helped me be able to, do what I'm doing now and be
Right.
able to be, still be here and all those things. So, it kind of inspires me to help more people.
Absolutely. And that definitely does help a lot of people, especially when you are open about everything that you go through, pretty much like open book transparency. Because a lot of people are not going to be free from a lot of things if we're not open about it. Because how would they expect you to be, them to be real to you if you're not going to be real to them? And that's what I'm learning as I go through the journeys, that I've gone through. So I definitely get that, because grief can be something hard. I know it's something hard. I haven't experienced it yet. So, but I can only imagine that, grief can take you on out. I think it's like 7 levels. It's like crying, anger, bitterness, it's like a whole bunch of levels. And if, that person don't see it, then they wouldn't know how to handle it. Or, if you're not transparent, they wouldn't know how to handle, their grief and their journey as well. So, I'm sure that put a lot to your story as well.
Yeah, so in my third book, so my second book is all about my writing journey. And when I
Mhm.
started putting pen to paper, I got all kinds of signs, like from my dad. Like, it is crazy how many
Oh,
signs that came
I'm gonna
through.
have to get the book for sure.
So all three of them are together now.
Okay.
So I do have it. It's called Dimes from Heaven Trilogy. And
Oh.
so it's all three books. But my second book is all about my writing journey.
Okay.
And like, for instance, I had business cards made, right? Because I
Hmm.
was starting to do like book signings and things.
Right.
And the place that I went to pick them up, I chose a local, store to get them printed at.
Hmm.
And I walked in and they said, "Did you write a book?" And I said, "Yeah." And they said, Is it about dimes?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's about dimes." And they said, "That's kind of weird because we have a dime glued to the floor over here." And I'm like,
Really?
the place that I pick has a dime glued
Wow.
to the floor. Like, I knew it was like my father being my cheerleader on the other side,
Right.
like in the afterlife. So that story helps the next author if they
Mhm.
want to write a book, then they can
Right.
read that and hear about my journey. But then I also share how I did it. And then in my third book, what you were just saying about the levels and the stages.
Hmm.
So there is some disconnect right now with the 5 stages of grief,
Okay.
but they're not. But so there is a different, let's see, structure, shall I say? There is 7 stages, but the
Okay.
5 stages, the original 5 stages, were written by Kubler Ross,
Mhm.
and she designed them for someone who was facing their death, not someone who is grieving. And so this is where people get really hung up in the grief cycle because, there is what you said, anger and acceptance and all these things, right?
Right.
There's bargaining and
Hmm.
stuff. But bargaining, like, the person, if you're grieving, the person's already gone.
Right.
So
Sure.
that doesn't make sense, right?
Makes sense.
Like, for instance, when my mom died, I'm like, what am I going to bargain for? Like,
Right.
she's
She's
gone.
already
But I
right.
can see where it would relate to if I was facing my own death. Like, if I had cancer or something and I was facing my own death, then I would want to bargain with God, right? Or
Right.
whoever we believe in, or
Right.
whatever, the universe, right? Like, I would want to try to make a deal. Um, so there is two stages that have kind of like I like to lean towards, and one is um, getting signs, which is that's what all my books are about, signs of the afterlife. And then two is carrying on the legacy of the person who you lost.
Okay.
And so when I'm feeling down or missing my dad, then I remember who he was,
Mhm.
and then I try to be that person.
Okay.
So, like, when I asked you before we started, I'm like, where are you? Like,
Right.
that was always his question. Like, he'd be on the phone to some, random, like he's calling for support for his Samsung computer or something.
Right.
And he'd be
Right.
like talking to the guy and he'd be like, "Where are you?
Right. Because it's
Where do
always
you
someone.
live?"
You're right. Because it's
Like
always a foreign person. Sure.
like he just wanted, he was such a people person. So yeah, so my last book, or my most recent book this summer, is called Once Upon a Dime.
Hmm.
Evan is talking to us. Do you know how to listen?
Okay.
And so it's for that person who's experiencing that grief.
Hmm.
And the first two books were about my journey in
Right.
grief and understanding how we could get signs. And this one gives the person the tools that they need to be able to, feel that love from
Mhm.
the person that they miss.
Okay. So to talk about the dime, so what made the dime so, I guess, specific or special between you two?
Well, so he did give me this dime necklace that I'm wearing, and it was a Liberty head dime.
Okay.
And I had lots of conversations before he passed. And one of the last conversations that I had was I wanted him to divide up his furniture. Sounds kind of
Okay.
weird talking about it, but he had antique furniture. And I said, "You have 4 kids and 8 grandkids. I'd
Hmm.
like you to divide it up so that we all know, what you would like us to have." And he was fighting me on it. And so one of the last days that he was able to talk, because he had a stroke, he couldn't talk the last few days. Um, One of the last, projects that I wanted to do with him was to do this furniture list.
Okay.
And and he just couldn't wrap his head around it. He just couldn't understand. So finally I said, I was driving his car and I was taking him home because he had to go home to be in a hospital bed. And
Hmm.
I said, "Dad, a dime is just a dime until it's a dime from your dad."
Oh wow.
And he was like, and then he got it. Like, a bureau is just a bureau
Right.
until it's a bureau that your grandfather gave you.
Right.
Like, it just holds more value,
Okay.
right? Like,
Right.
it's just that sentimental piece.
Hmm.
And so we went home and we did the whole list for the furniture. And so, like I said, I always climbed this mountain.
Hmm.
And I always called him when I got to the top, and he
Hmm.
lived on a lake down below on the mountain, by the mountain.
Oh
And
wow.
so I'd get to this one lookout spot and I'd say, "Hey, Dad." I'd call him and say, "Hey, Dad, I'm up on the mountain. I'll be down for coffee."
Hmm.
And so 2 weeks after he died, like, I can't call my dad. He's not
Right.
there.
Right.
I get there and there's a dime in the dirt. And I just was like, it has sent me on this journey that, like, I don't know if I would have gone on this journey had that, and that was, again, that was the first dime. And
Right.
since then, I mean, I have a whole collection now. Like, I find dimes everywhere. And most likely you will find a dime within the next 2 weeks is what
Okay.
happens when people hear my story. So it's a easy way for spirit. So your spirit, whenever people pass, I say that they turn into like spirit world, and they are trying to get our attention, but we don't notice them because we're so busy with our lives. And so, um, the dime, because you know now, and your spirit people know, then they might try to send you a dime. And so, a lot of times, people hear my story, and I kid you not, I get it all the time. "Oh, I just read your book, and now I found a dime." Even there was one podcast interview. I think it was actually a radio interview that
Hmm.
I did, and between the time we scheduled it and
Hmm.
then we had to postpone it, and then we finally had it like 2 weeks later, he was like, "Yeah, I found a dime now."
Just like what a coincidence. He found right. I can see that. I can see that happening. Wow, that's amazing. That's definitely amazing. I'm definitely gonna have to invest in the book for sure. Because I definitely it seems like an interesting journey that you've been on, and it definitely means a lot because it came out of love. from you and your dad's conversation. And I would have never thought of the quote that you said, "A dime is just a dime," until it's a dime that came from your dad, and that speaks volumes because it's not a dime is not special until it comes from someone special. And then it has a, I guess, a connection between you and him, and that you wear your necklace as well. It's like a forever connection, no matter where you are, no matter what you're going through. You look at your diamond, you be like, okay, Dad, I can do this, or okay, Dad, we're going to get through this together because it's that connection that you have with him forever. So that definitely says a lot, and I'm hoping to experience that one day. Eventually, maybe. No time soon though. But just to experience it. So like now that you're on this journey, you're continuously on it. So like what are your next steps after the 3 books that you have?
So I also I published a grief journal that you can get for free on my website if you go and you plug in your email or whatever, and it
Mhm.
sends it to you because I want other people to like understand that writing can be really helpful while you're grieving. I'm also a Reiki master, and I love to teach the energy of Reiki, both online and in person.
Okay, so break that down because I don't know what that means, to be honest.
So Reiki,
Hmm.
yeah. So Reiki is an energetic healing technique
Hmm.
that's it's really been used, laying on hands has really been used for thousands of years.
Hmm.
Reiki was developed in 1922 in Japan,
Okay.
and it's been passed down by teacher to teacher. And it's basically you just put your hands on different parts of your body. You leave your clothes on, so it's not like a massage. Um,
Right.
and so I treat people, but I also teach people how to do it so that then
Hmm.
they can do it themselves. So you learn about the chakra energy systems, you learn about your energetic body system, you learn about your aura. It's just, we don't understand that we're an energy system. And
Right.
so we're all just kind of going around eating our lunch and breakfast and
Right.
doing our work and stuff. But this is an energetic, this is like a battery that gets drained. Right. And so we have to pump it back up. And we do that with our hands through Reiki.
Okay.
And so you have to, in order to be able to do Reiki, you do have to attend classes and get what's called an attunement, and so it's basically the passing down of the Reiki energy to the student. And it's not something that like anyone can learn Reiki, and
Hmm.
it's healing, not curing. And so, like, I have a lot of students who come back to me and say, I used to have trouble with headaches all the time. And
Hmm.
now I just use the Reiki on my head and boom, my headache is gone. So like that to me is better than like them going to take a pill, right?
Right. Makes sense.
And so it's just kind of understanding our energetic systems and a different way to heal instead of always turning towards medicine.
Because I am in the pharmaceutical field and I've learned so much that I don't like. I
Yep.
don't like it all. I don't like. So
Yeah,
I,
they don't want to
yeah,
they don't
again,
want to heal you.
they
Sorry.
don't. No, they really don't, to be honest, because they're adding new medications every single day on top of, because you got to take one medication for a headache, then for a kidney, then you got to take it for your lungs. You got to, all this stuff, and it's like you're adding all these chemicals and all these things that they're mixing together into your body, and at the end of the day you're still the same way you were before you took the medication, like every single day. So it's like, let me find a natural remedy that I need to go, let me go back to the tree that I need, that was planted, so I can go ahead and get the things that my body originally needed, because these medications is just not what it is, so but I don't know how I got here, but some reason, somewhere in I need to learn something, obviously, so why I'm here. But definitely get with the medication thing. I've never heard of the class. It seems really interesting as far as laying on the hands of yourself and allowing your energy to um like a gift back to your body that it needs. So, like, how long have you been doing it for? A while.
So I've been doing Reiki personally for almost 30 years. That's what happened when, remember earlier I mentioned that I had a back surgery
Yes.
and the medical field did not help. The surgery didn't help. I was still in pain,
Hmm.
and I had to turn to complementary services. At that point, they were called alternative services. Like,
Hmm.
go to the doctor, or you
Hmm.
could go see the massage therapist, right?
Hmm.
And so I had Reiki back then, and so I learned it, and I had been using it with my kids and myself for a lot of years. And
Hmm.
then when I transitioned out of public education, I I'm just a natural teacher. Like, I love to teach. I
Right.
love to help people. And so this just fit right in with who I was because,
Right.
like I said, that giving that person, like, yes, I love to have a client come and get a Reiki
Hmm.
treatment, but if you learn it, then you can do it on yourself anytime that you're
Right.
not feeling well.
Right.
um, I have one of my students whose husband, she got into taking the classes with me because her husband had cancer
Hmm.
and he had had a stroke and he'd had a heart attack. And she started doing Reiki on his cancer.
Hmm.
And let's see, we're in December. So she started in May, I
Hmm.
believe, or June, maybe June, she started doing it on him.
Hmm.
And his cancer is not curable, but
Hmm.
it's healable.
Right.
Doesn't
It
sound
is
right.
killable. That is,
Right?
I,
Like,
I get
and
it.
so his cancer, he's done nothing different with the medical system, but she does Reiki on him every day.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of research. I don't have the scientific proof right now, but if you
Right.
if you Googled it, you'd be able to find that Reiki heals. And so she's been doing Reiki on him,
Mhm.
excuse me, and his cancer is half the size that it was back
Wow.
in June.
Wow.
And they've
Wow.
done nothing different.
Hmm.
And so it inspires me to just, you know, have people understand this, normalize this conversation about energetic systems, and
Hmm.
just embrace this new way of living and taking care of our bodies in a whole new way.
Right. Because that's definitely, we need our bodies like every single day. So that's definitely one thing that we need to do. Because I know, as far as like us women, for sure, for sure, we tend to take care of other people faster than what we take care of ourselves. And we are that energizer bunny that goes down, each level of being tired, or, you know, not knowing when our body is talking to us, as far as you need to rest, or you need to do this, or vitamins, or whatever the case may be. So it seems as though you have a lot of, some testimonials that, that the classes are helping, the lessons that you're giving are definitely helping. So I'm definitely intrigued by it, because again, like I said, I never heard of it. So something new for me. Definitely something new for me. So like,
That's
I would say, what's my just lost my train of thought. So like, where can people, others find you, and like about the classes, or just how to reach you in general?
Yeah, so I have a website, Monica L. Morrissey, RRSSEY. And so you can go to my website, you can make online appointments right there. My classes are posted there. All of my events are. I have a couple other, I teach people how to read angel cards. They're similar to tarot cards,
Okay.
but they're a little bit different, but very similar. Um, and the place that I'm most active is in my Facebook group, and
Oh,
that group is called Dimes from Heaven. I
okay.
also have a YouTube channel, Monica L. Morrissey, and I also have a vlog that I do every week, and those are posted both on my website and my YouTube channel.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I love to bring in different people that have helped me heal in different ways, and also just highlight some of the great work that other people are doing.
Absolutely, absolutely. So are your classes, are they in person, or are they virtual? Like, how does that work?
Both. Yep.
Both.
Yep. I do. I have an office here in town, but I
Okay.
do a lot of virtual classes. And those again should be all posted online, I hope. But I've got some Reiki 1 classes coming up in January, and then Reiki 2. Usually it's 30 days. So Reiki has 3 different levels, well, 4 different levels technically. You do
Okay.
Reiki 1, and Reiki 1's all about you doing Reiki on yourself. And then you wait 30 days, and then you do Reiki level 2. And
Mhm.
that's when you learn how to do Reiki on other people. And then if you enjoy doing that, then you can go on to become a master Reiki practitioner. And I don't like people don't understand that Reiki is for you and your friends and family, but it's not
Right.
necessarily to start a business.
Right.
So, like, Reiki is a journey into understanding yourself so much more. And because of my educational background and because of all the trainings that I've done, I'm a health and life coach. We can really dig into you understanding your soul's journey, and your soul's like your energetic system based on your soul. Because I believe all my work is focused on that you're a soul with a body, not a body with a soul. Like the
Mhm.
soul has to come first. So
Right.
that's my vlog is called Soul Whisperings.
Soul Springs. Okay, I'm definitely gonna put that in the call notes and definitely look into it as well. As well. So, are there any last encouraging words that you would like to share with the listener?
I just want to say I really like the title of your
Mm.
podcast,
Thank you.
because let's be real. Let's be honest about our own internal struggles. Because if we're not honest about our own internal struggles, nobody's gonna be able to share from their
Mhm.
heart to you.
All
And
right.
we all are going through our own things.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
just, yeah, I just want to help people understand their brains better, help them understand themselves better so that they can live happier.
Yes, and that's definitely the goal. Definitely the goal, because the more real and transparent you are, the happier we'll be for sure. Because I wouldn't want anybody to go through what I went through or continue to go through. If I can help them, I'm gonna help them, and vice versa for you. I'm sure you don't want people to go through that same vicious cycle. If we can help them prevent it, or we can help them through it, so we can get through it together. It definitely helps. People don't really see it that sometimes, because some of us are set in our ways, but I feel like if we're real with ourselves and real with others, then so much of this stuff that we go through in life, we won't have to really see too much of it. Not saying it's gonna go away completely, but we won't see it as much. So definitely, but I definitely appreciate you coming on with me today, taking out some time to talk with me, and I definitely learned a lot for sure. I definitely will be boosting the book. Also be getting the book. Well, what is it? Was it How you say the word? The last word?
It's
Trilogy.
trilogy. So
Trilogy.
that's like three in
Two
one.
books in one. Yes, I was trying to get the book. Yeah, that. Definitely gonna get that. So you can buy them as a whole, or is it just like it just comes three in one?
So the paperback version of trilogy, actually in Kindle too, I think you can get it in Kindle. It's all 3 books in one book.
Okay, in one book. Okay, okay, sounds good.
I don't have a copy right here.
It's okay. It's okay. I can definitely.
Copy.
I definitely. I'll snap a picture and put it in the call notes so that they can see what it looks like as well. If you can send me one, it'll probably be better, so I won't get the wrong book and advertise the wrong one. So I don't know. I don't want to do that, but I
Oh,
definitely appreciate you doing coming on here today for sure, um, and sharing your story and your journey with us. And I hope and pray that it helps so many others as well as you continue your journey with the things that you're doing for sure. So
thank you for having me.
absolutely, absolutely. We'll be talking soon. I'm gonna cut this part off, but as soon as I post it, well, I'm sure probably posting right about now, because the way the app is set up, I have it to where it already automatically posts on Facebook, um, YouTube, and on the page I'm on, but I'm gonna go back and link you to it so that you'll be able to share. Also, it'll be on Spotify, because I'm gonna use the vocal alone for Spotify, and I'm gonna send you the link as well so that you can share as well. So
Great.
You'll have everything. You and Kevin will have everything pretty much. So
Okay, thank you.
awesome. Thank you so much for coming, and I hope you enjoy your day and the rest of the holidays.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
You
Talk to you
too.
soon.
Bye-bye.
All right, you guys, that was definitely interesting. I'm loving the journey we're on. I really am loving the journey that we're on. I learn something new every single time. If you want to continue to follow, again, this is me over here somewhere. Let's be real. I also put her information in the call notes as well so that you all can have it and how to reach her and everything. And that's about it. Y'all know how to find me. This your girl Tony LaShawn at you again with another encouraging video and another journey. I'm looking forward to the next, and the next. And talk to you guys later. Bye. Thank you for listening to Let's Be Real 100%, where we're 100% real about life. We hope that you enjoyed the topic today, and we hope that you trust God more and more each day. And we hope to see you next week.